Thank you to my Patreon and Tier 2 YouTube members. Find out how you can support in the description. The all-encompassing guide to the CROTA'S weapon set is finally here. As usual, a bit late due to running the day 1 raid myself with the boys. We cracked top 350, which is our best yet, and also because I like to get the weapons myself and test them out alongside their new perks before I make my video. That said, I've spent some time with the weapon set and I'm finally ready to share my thoughts. So if you'd like to know which weapons you should craft, what encounters they come from, and what perks you should go for in PvE, then continue watching the video, subscribe if you like my content, and maybe follow the Twitch channel and hang out in the streams. So with that said, let's jump into it. Jumping straight into the Hellmouth, let's talk about where each one of these weapons come from. Thanks to blueberries.gg, we have a pretty easy to understand loot table that we can take a look at for this. For the Abyss encounter, you'll be able to earn the machine gun, auto rifle, and scout rifle. The bridge encounter offers the shotgun, pulse rifle, and scout once more. The Death Singer will give you the machine gun, pulse rifle, and hand cannon, with Crota coughing up the shotgun, auto rifle, and hand cannon once more. Of course, you can earn these weapons via the bonus chests in the raid, as well as the weekly red border, so do keep that in mind. Now, each one of these weapons is going to come with a brand new origin trait called Cursed Thrall, and I'll be honest with you guys, this is downright one of the best origin traits we've ever gotten on a new weapon set. The origin trait functions similarly to being intrinsic dragon or firefly on your weapon, except it requires a melee kill first to activate. This will begin a timer to which during said timer, every single kill you get will cause enemies to explode like Cursed Thralls. It doesn't even matter if it's a headshot or not. We also have an artifact perk this season which will extend its duration, and in general, it's just phenomenal. When running builds like Bonk Titan, Banner of War Titan, Hoyle Titan, and insert any other build here because I'm eating too many crayons, you'll have this origin trait active near constantly. It's a really awesome trait in general, and it's one that you definitely shouldn't forget to take advantage of. With the origin trait explained, let's finally dive into these weapons one by one, starting with the weapon that by far confused me the most when I got it, the Word of Crota. I cannot overstate just how excited I was to see this weapon drop into my inventory, only to realize it's a 180 RPM. Am I going crazy, or was the Word of Crota a 140/150 back in D1? Before noticing it was a 180, I was like, yes, Bungie is finally bringing a Void 140 into the sandbox that will have explosive payload. This has been something that I've wanted for the longest time, and finding out it was a 180 was pretty devastating. That said, with the new hand cannon buff, the weapon isn't bad at all, and it's kinda in the same boat as Posterity, where you can say, yeah, it's a 180, but the perk pool is absolutely insane, so it's kinda worth using. Taking a look at said perks, we have in the first column Subsistence, Dragonfly, Repulsor Brace, Enlightened Action, which increases reload and handling after dealing damage by the way, and even Demolitionist, with the second column featuring Precision Instrument, Frenzy, Sword Logic, which I'll get to in a minute, Destabilizing Rounds, and even Adrenaline Junkie. Now, Sword Logic is an interesting one, as it's exclusive to the CROTA'S weapons and states that final blows increase weapon damage. The higher tier the enemy is that you kill, the greater the damage buff and the longer the duration. The percentages come out to around 15% damage on 1 stack, 20% on 2 stacks, which seems to only be proccable in PvP, 35% on 3 stacks, and 50% on 4. So for PvE specifically, it looks to be red bar enemies that will give you 1 stack for 15% damage, with major enemies giving you 3 stacks for 35, and boss enemies giving you all 4 stacks for 50%. The cool thing too is that if you do kill a boss enemy and get that 50% damage bonus, you can refresh the timer killing lower tier adds. You don't have to keep killing boss tier enemies to refresh it. This means that this perk will definitely be better on a weapon like a machine gun, but still useful in at least some capacity on primaries, especially in the lower leveled content. Circling back around to what role specifically I might go for with this hand cannon, we have Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing, which seems like a very fun combo. Obviously, Subsistence and Sword Logic wouldn't be too bad to keep ammo up for refreshing those stacks, and Demo and Adrenaline Junkie is a combo as old as time. As for me though, I'm not entirely sure if I'll end up crafting it. 180 hand cannons have never been my thing personally, and although this weapon isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, I'll be focusing my efforts on other weapons within the set. Swordbreaker. Speaking of other weapons that I'll be focusing on, SWORDBREAKER is definitely one of the two. This weapon is the first strand shotgun to roll with 1-2 punch, and it's in the lightweight archetype, making it perfect for punchy builds given the built-in movement speed buff. It's also one of only 2 craftable kinetic shotguns with 1-2 punch, the other being Wastelander from Dares of Eternity. This weapon has me pretty excited because I've been running quite the amount of Strand Titan as of late, and adding a strand weapon into my strand build is always a welcome addition. SWORDBREAKER rolls some pretty wild stuff as you can see on screen, but the only recommendation I'll make is either Threat Detector or Slide Shot in the first column with 1-2 punch in the second. Normally with pellet shotguns, you'll want to use them as a means to make your fist do more damage, and that's exactly what SWORDBREAKER is going to do for you. Threat Detector will be there to increase the snappiness of the weapon and boost its reload speed near enemies, with the option of Slide Shot being there for easy reloads on the move. This weapon was the first one that I focused for my guaranteed red border, and I can't wait to fully craft it. OVERSOUL EDICT. For those of you that are pulse rifle enjoyers in PvE, you will definitely enjoy this one. For those of you that are looking for a pulse rifle to do something extremely out of the ordinary to pull you in, this one probably won't do that. Maybe aside from its origin trait though. OVERSOUL EDICT is a good weapon, but in my opinion suffers the fate of being a pulse rifle, in a meta where I just don't find myself using them. Normally if I do, it's because of anti-champion capabilities, because otherwise I'm on hand cannon or submachine guns. That said, we do have some good rolls here, with the first column featuring Enlightened Action, Perpetual Motion, Demo, and Keep Away, with the second column having Adrenaline Junkie, Sword Logic, and Volt Shot. The roll I'll probably go for here is Demo and Volt Shot, but do keep in mind that the reload from throwing a grenade with Demolitionist will not proc Volt Shot, so if you intend to use the perk, you'll have to be mindful and manually reload in those situations. With that said though, the boost in grenade energy is definitely welcome with how strong they are, and that'll be the role that I'm most excited about, with just about any combination of the perks I mentioned earlier being passable as well. Song of 𝗕𝗕𝗕𝗕𝗕. By far the best weapon in the entire weapon set, we finally have our hands on a really good adaptive frame machine gun that is arc element. The only other one I can think of is the 𝗦𝗧𝗔𝗠𝗦𝗡, but that weapon never really stood out quite like weapons such as Commemoration being in the same archetype. For the Song of 𝗕𝗕𝗕𝗕𝗕, however, we basically have our arc Commemoration because the perks on top of the origin trait are just absolutely nasty. First column, we have Unrelenting, Feeding Frenzy, Demolitionist, Keep Away, Rewind Rounds, and Reconstruction, with the second column coming with Sword Logic and Target Lock. Any combination of these perks will do you wonders, but I'll 100% be crafting the Reconstruction and Sword Logic roll so I can have as many bullets in the magazine as possible with as high as a damage buff as possible with a constant refreshing buff timer. Long gone are the days of only passable arc machine guns. We finally have quite the exceptional specimen on our hands, and I highly suggest that you go for this one above all the rest. Abyss Defiant. This weapon truly had the potential to be something that I would have absolutely fallen in love with, but Bungie decided to fumble the bag. Abyss Defiant very well could have been one of the best auto rifles in the game, but one look at the archetype will tell you that it's indeed a high impact frame. Had this weapon been a 600 or hell, even a 720 RPM, I would have been drooling over this from day one, but alas, we're stuck with a mid archetype or downright bad one, while the weapon also has a really good perk pool. Sound familiar? Abyss Defiant rolls with Pugilist, Enlightened Action, Heal Clip, Subsistence, Outlaw, and Reconstruction, which can be combined with Incandescent, Kill Clip, Sword Logic, and even Target Lock. Man, does this one actually make me sad. I probably won't be crafting Abyss Defiant, but if I ever decided to, I'd probably go the route of Heal Clip or Reconstruction combined with Incandescent. Probably won't happen though, because that archetype, dude, it's really bad. Fang of 𝗕𝗕𝗕𝗕𝗕. To end things off, we arrive at the humble Strand rapid-fire scout rifle that just kind of exists. Although I will say that one look at the perk pool does tell me that this weapon will be pretty nasty on champions, but that's about all I'd probably use it for. In the first column, we have Shoot to Loot, Rewind Rounds, Rapid It, and Keep Away, which can be combined with Precision Instrument, Sword Logic, Hatchling, and Kill Clip. If I ever crafted this weapon, I'd go the route of rewind and precision instrument to maintain max stacks on the damage buff it provides, which would most likely be best suited for champions, but in all honesty, I'm probably going to pass on this weapon as well. Not that it's bad, but Fang of Ŵyrt just isn't a weapon that I'm too interested in crafting in this current sandbox, plus with it being a scout rifle and intended to be used at range, I won't get too much use out of the origin trait either, which makes me sad. And there you have it. Fang of Ŵyrt wraps up my review of all 6 of the new legendary weapons that came with the CROTA'S in Raid here in Destiny 2. As you can probably tell, I'm not really too big of a fan of most of these weapons, and I'm only going to craft maybe the pulse rifle and definitely the shotgun and machine gun. This, however, has been one man's opinion, so let me know down in the comments what you think of these weapons down below. And speaking of comments, shout out to my 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗧𝗕𝗏 from the previous video. I appreciate your continued support and cult-like following for commenting whatever random word I come up with at the end of my content. This time around, let's keep with the CROTA'S in theme, and I'd like to see the word Deathsinger down below, as I gotta say, Bungie absolutely nailed the rework of the Deathsinger encounter, and it's by far my favorite one that they've done with the CROTA'S in Reprisal. They turned a regular Joe Schmo wizard with basically zero mechanics into an actual fun boss fight, and I gotta commend the homies over at Bungie for doing that in such an awesome way. Anyway, fellas, thank you all so much for watching today's video. This one probably won't gain as much traction as the others around in the community, as I was fairly late to getting this video out, but I do appreciate your support nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.